Welcome to NNPA and Black Press USA's FIRE program. I'm your host, Taylor Thomas, and I'm excited to introduce to you a guest that many of you know, and some of you may not realize who he is until you actually see his face. He is Grammy-nominated music producer and drummer, Aaron Spears. Thank you for coming on the show today.
And it's my pleasure, my honor to be here with you, Taylor. Pleasure.
Aaron, listen, I'm just going to name some of the people that you have performed with for, right? And with, and it's so long that it could literally take up the whole show. So I'm just going to run through a couple of them, right? So we have Usher, we have Lil Wayne, we have Chrisette Michele, we have Shaka Khan, Carrie Underwood, Adam Lambert, Israel Houghton, Mary Mary, Ariana Grande, and the list goes on. And what's amazing about this, that's country, that's gospel, that's R&B, that's hip hop. You run the gamut.
Hey, at the end of the day, man, the common denominator of all those things is music, and it's
Okay.
feel, and it's your vibe. I've been really fortunate to be able to connect with those different artists across the different genres for the span of my career. I'm really thankful.
So when did your career actually begin?
So it depends on who you ask, to be honest.
I'm sure.
If you ask my parents, they'll say things started when I was 6 years old, playing at church. That's the first, time that I actually was able to sit down and actually play with musicians and play with a band. My professional career, where I actually was able to play and get paid and take care of myself, that started in 2004 when I started with Usher.
What a great start. What a great start. We all love Usher. That is incredible. So listen,
Hey, I would say it's so crazy, like the way that things happen. I'm sure we'll definitely get into it, but I mean, it's just things started with him there in 2004 and just kind of branched on and went on a kind of crazy ride from there. But I'm thankful.
Aaron, let's not take away from the fact, because you're not talking about a name that people don't know. Usher is a mega superstar, right? So to say that your career started off with a mega superstar, I just want to know, honestly, how did that connect? Because it's not like you are a singer, but you are vital to artists no matter what music genre. How do you get to that level, though? So what happened?
So for me, I'm gonna tell you, it started with I had an extreme desire, man, to be able to do this, to do music in this way, to be on that level. And it just seemed like the more that I pushed to try to make things happen and try to kind of force things to happen, it wasn't happening. When I just kind of chilled out, relaxed, and just really started working on me. I started networking with people that were doing what it is that I wanted to do, and the opportunity, the doors just really opened. I mean, I'm not trying to be super churchy or anything like that, but I just really feel like for me, it's just God just really opened the door for things to happen. I was talking with a friend of mine who played for Mary J. Blige at the time, and he was on the road and he was working. He's a drummer, a very famous drummer. His name is Gerald Heyward, and he was listening to a recording of something that I had recorded, drumming. And Usher's musical director and him are really good friends. And he just came to his place because they were going to hang out and the music was on. And as he's listening to the music, he was like, yo, who is the dude on drums? Who is the drummer? I like this band, but who's the drummer? Do you think he'd be interested in playing with Usher with us? Because we're looking for a new drummer. And they called me and asked me to send in a videotape of myself playing and send the tape in. And from the tapes that came in, because it was like a national audition for his drummer, of all the tapes that came in, they selected me, Usher, the musical director, and also his manager. They selected me to be his drummer. And that's just kind of how it happened. So it wasn't even something I could really say, oh man, I was beating down everybody's door saying, yo, this is what I do. I can play, check me out. It just kind of happened. The doors just kind of opened for me. But, it's just, again, that's why I say I can't even take credit for it. Like it's something that I did so fantastic and great. It's really just the doors open and I just was able to just kind of walk through. The path was just cleared for me to be able to be there.
So, Aaron, what do you think that when you work with these artists, what do they say to you? Why they selected you? Why they like working with you?
Well, I, it's a it's a combination of a couple of things. Of course, I work really hard to make sure that, playing wise, things are what they're supposed to be. I want to make sure that I'm prepared, that I studied the music, and that I give them the music the way that it is that they want. It's playing with the different artists to me, and across different genres. It's like the equivalent of being a chef. Like if I say, hey, I'm gonna have a dinner party at my house, I want you to come over, we're gonna have a good time. I can't just serve everybody the same, you know, thick ribeye porterhouse. That ain't gonna work. Cause some people, they don't eat meat, or there's some people that don't eat cheese. So I have to make sure that I have to take that in consideration. When inviting people over. It's the same thing with music. I want to make sure that I'm sensitive to the things that are important to them. I want to make sure that the music is hitting them at the point and at the places where it's supposed to. So I have to be very, very mindful of that when it comes to approaching the music. And for me, that's just something that I've always taken to heart. And it's made people want to be able to work with me, because as much as I'll give them me, they trust me enough to be able to give them what it is that they're looking for and what they want. In addition to that, I also want to make sure that my relationship with them, that it's always cool. Like I want it to be a situation where they feel that I respect them, they respect me. We can have conversations, we can talk. Like I don't want it to ever be something where it's weird, where they're like, "Oh God, here he comes." What's it gonna be now? You feel me? So
Right,
I never wanted to be that. I never wanted to be weird. I always want to be able to leave the situation in a better place than when I got there. Like I want people to feel like, us working together is going to be an experience that they're going to remember and that they're going to enjoy. Everybody across the board, and that's from the artist to the person that's on the side doing the monitors, to the person who's at front of house, to even the people that are up in the top doing the lights, doing the rigging, and the video guys. Like I just want to make sure that the interaction that we have is a positive one. And I feel like that really has been the secret to me being able to work so long, is just being able to show people kindness and respect.
So when you're working with these artists like Usher and Rihanna and Shaka Khan and, Carrie Underwood, are you sitting down with them? Are you actually, how much interaction do you have, or is it someone telling you what they want? And I know it varies from artists, I'm sure.
No, it definitely, it varies from artist to artist and situation to situation. With Usher, I worked with Usher for like maybe 13, 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
That long.
Yeah, we started back when Confessions came out.
No.
Like
Don't bring me back to
that's
that. That
I'm
was
trying to tell you.
explosion.
Hey,
Explosion.
so look, I'm gonna tell you, when Confessions came out, I'm one of the producers on Confessions. The band and we all came together and we worked on the interludes for that record. That's what we were nominated for a Grammy for our work that we did on that record. But our relationship was extremely hands-on, to the
Okay.
point where we worked extremely tight together, and it started with that particular record. Like the level of trust that we built was centered around the work that we did on that record, and being the band, when it came to anything that was happening live, we had communication, we had our powwows, we made sure that we understood what it was that he wanted, and we carried out the vision. And even to the point where if it was something that we felt wasn't sweet or wasn't good, he trusted us enough to be able to say, dude, this is whack. Like, don't do that. That's not sweet. And not even be like, y'all are hating, or, it wasn't like that. It was like, all right, I hear you. I guess that might be a little bit corny. All right, well, what direction should we go? Like, it was really a great, great working relationship. Definitely same thing, working in the studio with certain artists, they would say, hey, I like it to be more like this, or I want, this kind of vibe, or I want the sound of the drums to be different than what you're giving me. And it's just a dialogue and just a conversation that we have to have with each other in order to be able to meet the goal. At the end of the day, I want to be able to leave whatever situation it is smiling. And I want to make sure that the artist is also smiling. I want to make sure that they're happy with what it is that I'm giving them, you know? So there are some artists for sure that I worked with where it wasn't so, our communication wasn't there. You know, it's like I had to talk to somebody, I had to talk to maybe the musical director, or I had to speak to a manager, and it wasn't like we really had so much interaction us personally, you know. But all in all, man, I can say all the relationships that I've had, my working relationships, have always been um, very, very positive. Where we've been able to just even, you know, talk to each other or connect with each other, you know, which has been, it's been fantastic.
Think in 13 years with Usher, from what I know of him in the music industry, is that almost like Prince, he's a perfectionist and he's so incredible live. People expect so much from him and he gives it 150%. I think his personality comes out. But when you talked about Confessions, let me tell you, that's the first artist that I think that I remember when I heard that, because the whole part of that song was, oh my gosh, this is real. It's Usher's. And I just was like, no, please say he's not writing. And I mean, it just went downhill from there in the sense of it blew up. I mean, and it was playing so much everywhere. It was just a smash. It was a smash. I mean, he's been a superstar since he's touched the stage and he was a teenager. But that was, I remember that time distinctly. I mean, everyone's listening to every single word. They were like, was this, kind of trying to connect the dots, which years later he said, had nothing to do. Nothing to do with me. Okay. So that is really neat to know that you were with him for 13 years. You know, you talk about, I mentioned it before, and we talk about singers. And that there's not a clear path to becoming a superstar in that either. But, it's got to be hard to be a drummer in the entertainment industry because there's got to be a billion of them. Now, of course, skill levels are different, but that's not an easy thing.
Nah, it's not. And there are so many. There's so many musicians, and everyone has the idea and the heart to want to be, professional, to be able to do it, on the big stage, to be able to do it under the big lights, to be able to tour and to be able to see the world. I mean, it's just something that the desire is there. Who wouldn't want to be able to do something they love and to be able to have that as the career that actually takes care of them, takes care of their family. I think that's a desire that so many people have. So it's crazy to me, again, and this is one of the things for me that just kind of keeps me in pocket or keeps me checked, is here I am doing something that I love with all my heart and able to take care of myself and to buy my house and buy my cars and, put my son in private school. And, it's like all of these things, I'm able to do just from playing drums. To me, it's absolutely incredible. And it's so humbling because there's so many extremely talented people that are playing, they're doing this, day in and day out. And, me personally, I just don't take it for granted that I'm in the position that I am. I want to be able to always kind of like pay it forward and help those that are coming up behind me, because there's going to be a time where my time on the stage it's not going to be there. So what do? I want to be able to hopefully inspire them and also help them. The mistakes that I made coming up, on tour, or things that I did that wasn't sweet, I want to make sure that I make them aware of that so they don't make the same mistakes that I did. And hopefully it'll help to launch careers of longevity for them as well,
So very important. My guest tonight is Grammy-nominated musical producer and drummer. Yes, Aaron Spears. He's joining me here on Black Press USA and NNPA's FIYA. I also want to let you know that, today and tomorrow, just to let you know that NNPA is having their midwinter conference today and tomorrow. And viewers, you can catch that by simply going to www.weckl.com. virtualnnpa.com for more information. So right now, my guest until the top of the hour is the phenomenal Aaron Spears. Next time, we're going to have you come and perform for us because, I do like to have the drums. But speaking of that, I see a large array behind you. So are those collections, collectibles, or you actually use those drums?
No, I use them. They're that would be my snare rack. And basically everything up there is usable, playable. They're all different sizes. They're made of different materials. Some are made of metal, some are made of wood, some are made of, maple, some are made of mahogany, some are made of babinga. I mean, different materials have different qualities or different tones. Some will give you like a deeper, fatter tone. Some are more high pitched. It's a science behind it. It's a science behind it. So, in order to be able to be proficient, studio wise, just based on what the record is that I'm playing, I have to make sure that I have a certain tone or a certain sound. And sometimes that doesn't just come from the way that you tune. It's not just about the tuning. Sometimes it actually is about the physical wood, or sometimes it is about the metal. So I just want to be prepared for whatever it is that's coming my way. Whatever it is, I want to make sure that I got it. So that's what you see back there.
So starting off the show, I mentioned these are just some of the A-list performers you've worked with, from Ariana Grande to Adam Lambert to Israel Houghton to Mary, Shaka Khan, Usher, Carrie Underwood. There's such various genres. Is there one particular genre that you didn't think that let's say that, of course you like them all, but is there one that you were really surprised that, oh my gosh, once I started that avenue, I just loved it?
I don't. One doesn't stick out more than the other as far as genres.
Yeah.
I have to say, performance wise, to me, like, there a couple really stick out for me, and that would be Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande, and then Usher. Those three to me were just, they're so different, but like the level of what they give is so much. It's so high. It's crazy working with Usher, because like you mentioned earlier, he's a perfectionist. Yeah, so I mean, he really we would be in rehearsal, and he would literally have to have a change of clothes nearby once rehearsal was done, because he's in a full sweat. He's dancing, he's singing, he's moving, he's jumping. He's taking it. Just, it's so intense with him, because he wants to make sure that he gives everything that he has when it's time to perform. And he requires that from everybody that's with him. So same thing with the dancers, same thing with the band. He wants everybody giving it everything they got, which is it's incredible. With Lady Gaga, working with her, she's so talented. She plays piano, she plays guitar, she writes all her music, she sings, and it's so crazy because it's like not a lot of artists really do that. You have some really talented artists out there, but they rely on other producers to get their music together, to write for them, to put things together. She's not that. She's in rehearsal, hands-on, playing. She's in rehearsal, hands-on, she's singing. She's asking, hey, what did you guys think of that? Was that cool to do? Or should I go a different way? Like, her process of rehearsal to performing is it's so organic and so unique. And I really enjoyed the time I spent with her. Same thing with Ariana. Ariana has to be hands down one of the best singers in the world.
Her voice is scary. It is. When I first heard it, I know people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I honestly, it's like, wow, Mariah, wow. And I love that the Christmas special they did together. I love that they did it together. That was phenomenal. She has an incredible range, and my daughter remembers her from Cat and Sam, I think it is. So from Disney Channel. So amazing.
To hear her sing, and it's crazy because for her, she gives so much props and she gives so much reference to
Mhm.
those people who are idols, like a Mariah Carey or like a
Yes.
Whitney Houston
Yes.
or like a Shaka Khan or like Patti LaBelle. I mean, these are people for her that are her heroes, but she is like that present day right now. Like some people, the kids that are coming up now, they don't know
They
who
don't
Patti
know.
LaBelle is.
That's right. You're
It's
right.
unfortunate, but they don't know. To them, the greatest thing that they've ever heard in their life is going to be her. They may know Mariah possibly, but they don't know. They don't. So for her to be able to stand in that mantle right now and to be able to, show love, she's another one that's so gifted and so talented, but she's so humble. She never stands to, if she's corrected about something, she doesn't take it where it's like, huh, you gonna tell me what you don't know what you. She's not that. She stands, she takes it, and she says, "Oh, maybe okay, I can do that better. What do you guys think? Was that cool? Was that all right?" She's always working to better herself. I mean, I'm very impressed with her work ethic as well. It's a different vibe from Usher, but she works really, really hard to give her fans what it is that they have. It's fantastic. So to me, those three really stick out to me as far as just like top level, just the top of the
Absolutely.
top. You
Absolutely.
know,
It's so neat to hear that what the world perceives of them is actually who they are, and they do really seem genuine. Do you perhaps like those three artists? Not that you don't like the other ones, but because maybe there was more creativity on your part that was allowed for their performances.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, for me, I definitely I love those three so much. Because of the input that we have together. The way that we're able to work together, man. It's just it's been fantastic. But everybody has their own way of working. Everyone has their own way of kind of making things happen, and you just kind of respect their process. But to me, those three, they're my favorites, hands down.
That is really really great to hear, how it works and connects for you. Well, as you know, NNPA, we are a news media outlet, and I want to let you know of some sad news right now. We've received word that Cicely Tyson has died at
Oh
the
my God.
age of 96. So our prayers and condolences go out to her family. This is definitely a tragic loss. She has years and years and years of giving us entertainment and joy, and really highlighting and showing the many things that African American women can do in the world of entertainment. So our prayers, again, if you're just tuning in to Fire here on NNPA and Black Press USA, we've received word that Cicely Tyson has died at the age of 96. We're being joined tonight. It is still Fire. We interrupt. We're always talking about news. It is a media news outlet that we're here. And it kind of leads me into something that we're all dealing with, and we've been dealing with now, Aaron, for a year. Our guest is Grammy-nominated music producer, drummer Aaron Spears. Aaron, we're in the midst of COVID, going
Yeah.
into what 2 months will be actual full year. How has
Yeah.
COVID changed your life professionally and personally?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. Professionally, it has caused a major shift. I was actually supposed to be on the road with Lady Gaga for
Oh,
her upcoming tour for the last record that she just released. That was going to be a stadium tour. That was going to be around the world, which was
oh my
fantastic.
gosh.
But because of COVID, production and everything totally just shut down. It's just not possible to have a tour of any size, during this time. The risk is just it's too great. It's too
Mhm.
massive. So that caused me to be here at home, which right now, my biggest job or my most important job or priority is, you know, Monday through Friday, I am, teacher's assistant, the IT tech.
Like
I
so
am the
many of
lunch,
us, right?
the lunch lady. That's what I do.
Super dad.
My son, exact. My son he's 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
he's
he's a
6, so
little
he's
tight.
in.
That means that's
He
attention
is.
span is yes.
Oh man,
Wow.
it's all. So I have to make sure that he's focused and make sure that he's, present in the moment for class. And for him, it's tough because, he sees his friends on his computer, but he's not able to actually be able to spend, time with them and really kind of talk with them and, hang with them. So that's pretty much been my day to day. My wife, she's a teacher, so like
Okay.
while I'm upstairs with my son at his desk,
She's working.
she's downstairs and she's making things happen on her end. But for me, I wouldn't have the moment to be able to spend this kind of time with them
Sure.
if COVID didn't happen. My wife told me, she was like, yo, this is the longest that you've ever been home since we've been married. We'll be married, it'll be 9 years in March. Thank you
Congratulations.
so much. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
That's
I celebrate
eh,
every year, every day, every hour. That
hey,
is
listen,
phenomenal.
I'm gonna tell you, and especially right now during this pandemic, people being home together every day. A lot of
Yes.
people don't like who they married. You feel me?
Right.
They're
Right.
like,
That's what they were able to say they're going to play the game or basketball or go to
oh,
a lounge or whatever.
oh man,
Bowling.
yeah,
No
yeah. People,
excuses.
nah, you in there 24/7. You are
Yeah.
locked in. Some people they
But that's a
realize, hey,
lot for
you know what?
anyone. Seriously, that's a lot for
It
anyone,
is.
right? I don't care how much
It
you love
is.
them.
Hey, look, it's a lot for sure. I mean, sometimes you have to take a drive, take a solo drive just to kind of get away from time to
Yeah.
time. But this is the longest that I've actually been home consistently without leaving to do anything. So
Aaron, how's your
I'm.
son taking it? He's 6. I know it's only so much, but seeing daddy every day, he has got to be ecstatic,
Oh
right?
man, he loves it. We have a ball every single day. We have a good time. We get up first thing in the morning. I'm like, man, it's a new day. It's time to kill it. He's like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
kill
love
it,
it.
Dad. I'm gonna kill it. So I
Oh,
mean, we this time for me has been absolutely fantastic, and I've loved it. Even though work wise it's suffered,
yeah,
and it definitely hasn't been what it was supposed to be. But at the same time, this is what it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be here right now in this moment
right,
with my son being present. I'm
right.
supposed to be here with my wife present. So I'm very, very thankful for that. In the meantime, I've also been able to kind of open up some other avenues, some other streams.
That's
I'm
great.
currently working on a television show called The Masked Singer. So like the
Yes, I
show
have
comes
that in my
on.
notes.
So
Wow.
I'm very, very fortunate to be able to. I've been working on that show for the last 3 seasons, and this is just another season that I've been able to connect with the show. And I serve as not just the drummer, but I'm also the music coordinator for the show. So
Okay.
everything that happens musically, I have to kind of like make it happen and approve it and take care of, make it's really cool, man. I'm very, very thankful for that opportunity as well.
And before that, you did Songland, right?
Yeah, I did actually. It's so crazy because when I first got started with the television show Songland, it was kind of like during a downtime, which was
Okay.
fantastic
Yes, it
because it
is.
wasn't really anything. It wasn't nothing was happening, nothing was going on.
Blessings.
But then all of a sudden, Ariana went out on tour, so I had to give that position to somebody else, to let them take over.
Oh,
But
okay.
still, it was cool to be able to have been a part of that and that whole process and to be on set, and it was awesome, and it's something I'm really, really thankful for sure.
Now, you mentioned Ariana Grande and you mentioned you were supposed to be on tour with Lady Gaga. If I'm
Yeah,
correct, were you in Europe when that explosion went off and it canceled Ariana Grande's show?
I was there.
Wow, that was
So this
frightening.
is. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, it's crazy because music is one of those things that we use as a tool to be able to transport us from our everyday. You
Yeah.
having a bad day, you put on maybe some Nina Simone or put on some Marvin Gaye, or you put on something that resonates with you, that it just feels good. It makes you forget about how terrible your day was.
It really does.
Um,
I can attest
so
to that.
for absolutely, so for like a live concert, here it is. Nothing else matters but you having a good time with your girls, or you having a good time with your friends, your family. You're partying, you singing all the songs that you love. I mean, you just having a blast, you know. This show was in Manchester, and we had just got finished the show. We had just got finished performing. The show was over, and we're all heading back to the dressing room, getting ready to get showered up and get ready to get on the bus and make our move to go to the next city. As we were walking to the dressing room, we heard this extremely thunderous, super loud, like boom. And it wasn't like, it was unsettling, because you heard it, but you also felt it. It also kind of like a shake.
Yeah.
So none of us had in our mind, this is an Ariana Grande concert. It's little girls there, it's nothing but teenage kids and, young girls with ponytails and,
Just like
trying to be
hers.
like her. You know what I'm saying? So none of us in our mind even imagined it was anything like that. We're thinking maybe something with the PA or something fell or, but we had no idea that it was what it was. So once we get back to the dressing room, we're getting showered and changed, and security comes, barreling into our room, and they're like, "Hey guys, we got to get out of here." We're like, "Yo, chill, bro. We just got finished. Like, I'm getting dressed." We're like, "No, guys, you don't understand. We have to go now." But they weren't telling us why. They wouldn't say the
So you
reason
wouldn't
why
panic,
we had to
probably.
leave. Exactly. So
Yeah.
once we finally got, grabbed our stuff, quickly and headed outside, then, they began to, they waited until we got to like our meeting spot, our safe place.
Okay.
And that's when they started to tell us, what had just happened. And we just were all in disbelief because it's like, this is not possible.
Yeah.
Who does that? Seriously. Like, these are kids. This is not even, the people who are being affected are kids and families. Like, that's just so disgusting. How is that even possible? So, the weight of it just really began to get extremely heavy, because
Sure.
we started to hear the tolls and, the number of people who were injured and the number of people who died. And it just, taking something that was so joyous and so fun and so free and so exciting and so liberating to change that into just extreme chaos was just a moment that sticks with all of us, in our hearts forever,
I can just
just
imagine
crazy.
when they were doing the coverage here in the US about it, I'm like, that's an Ariana Grande concert. What is going on? So I definitely, it just came to mind because I knew that I wasn't sure if you were playing that point, but I do know
Yeah, I
that was
was, I
something
was,
that
I
was
was right there.
shocking. Wow.
Hey,
You
it,
know,
it
we,
was it was intense. I remember, man, I had to call my family immediately as soon as I got
yeah,
the word, because I didn't want
yeah,
them to hear it from the news first. That
yes,
was what had happened. I didn't, they
yes,
already worry about me anyway, being,
sure,
in all these different countries, the day after day, in these strange lands and strange places, and because of the leadership that we had, um, you know, America is not looked in the most favorable light. You feel me? So,
yes.
they worry about that. Are you okay? Are you keeping safe? You're not out there just sightseeing and just going. Nah, I'm cool. But I wanted to make sure that they knew and understood that, I was safe and that everybody that I'm connected to on the tour was safe. But, I just wanted to make sure they got the word before it happened. You
You
know?
know, we were talking a few minutes ago about COVID, and you were telling me pretty much everything is shut down now. You are doing some television work with The Masked Singer, and
Yeah.
I'm sure some other things too. But
Hmm.
you're really spending time with your 6-year-old son. So, two
Yeah.
questions come to mind about
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
So, do you look at your wife differently, and like, how do you do it all?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, that's the first thing. The first thing that I felt during this time, working with him, was just like, teachers do not get paid enough
No, they
money.
don't. No, they don't. They are incredible. And actually, you would think they'd be the millionaires because they're the ones creating all these great people that are doing what they're doing, whether it's playing music, talking, speaking, doing news. You're absolutely right. I love
Listen,
teachers.
the foundation that they lay for our young people is incredible, and they do not get paid enough.
With all
They
the
don't. They
obstacles that they have, with all the
Oh
obstacles,
man,
it's a
it's
lot.
it's just it's insane. It's insane that they go to school for years and years and years. They get into extreme debt because what they want to do is they want to satisfy their passion to be able to help our young people, and they get the worst end of the stick. I just felt like when I was sitting there, the first week sitting there with my son and just trying to redirect him and to make sure that he's on point and make sure he has the tools that he needs and making sure that he's on point, his connection is good, and that
Imagine
he's
that
not.
plus 30 other kids, right, in a
You
classroom,
feel,
right?
this is what I'm
30,
saying.
maybe
you
33.
know I'm just dealing with one. I'm dealing with
Right.
one kid,
Right.
not the entire class. And to me, after that first week, I was just like, man, we
It was a
made it. We
wake-up
made it
call
through.
for a
Okay,
lot of
all right,
people.
yeah, for sure. And it's crazy to me now that so many people here in the DMV, they're asking for kids to go back to school because they understand how hard it is. I don't necessarily think that that's the right move, but I feel their pain. You want your kid to go
Sure.
back so that way somebody else can take care of them. That's
And
not
teach
really.
them the way that I mean, their parents, we handle things differently, and teachers know the
Yeah,
correct way to address something and say and
yeah,
encourage
yeah,
behavior.
for
Yeah.
sure,
And I'm sure you're
for
still
sure.
juggling things that you're doing professionally as well in between. Because I know my daughter, I'll work on something and she'll ask me a question and I'll turn to her and I'm like, give me 5 seconds. I'm like, no, you can't. Stop what you're doing and take care of what she needs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean it's we're all learning and trying to navigate the situation the best that we can. But for me, being here with him, I know that he loves it. I know that he appreciates it. I know my wife loves it. She appreciates it as well. But it's definitely been um, growing for me. Like it's helped to stretch me and help me to grow in ways that um, ordinarily wouldn't happen, you know. And
That's
I,
really
I'm
special.
I'm I'm
Dads are the
thankful for
best.
that.
Dads
Absolutely,
are the best.
for
So
sure.
after COVID, is there anything that you're doing now that you're going to incorporate in your lifestyle after we get through COVID?
You know what? One thing that I really, really want to make sure that we continue to do. I really love the way that we're able to eat together. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
that time that we have where we all sit down, for lunch, that time that we all sit down for dinner at the table together, that means a lot. Even down to us preparing. That's another thing. This is probably the most that I've ever cooked in my life, you know, because everything else has always been so accessible, So it's like,
Okay.
oh, you know what? I feel like Cheesecake Factory. Let me go slide down. I'm gonna grab the miso salmon, and so it's to me during this time. That's another thing that I've really spent time, really learning how to prepare food for my family the way that they like it, as
Wow.
opposed to just taking a easy quick fix. I mean, of course, it's great to be able to say, you know what, tonight I feel like Maggiano's, and
All
let's
my
make it
favorite
happen. But
places.
you say, oh, we're friends. We just
All
became
my
best
favorite
friends.
places.
Absolutely. But those things, like to be able to eat together, to cook together, just to bring our family, closer and tighter. I just those are things that I'll take even after everything opens up, for sure.
So let me ask you this, Aaron. So can you give us a glimpse inside of the real world of being on the road? What is that like?
Man, it's not the easiest thing in the world. I have to tell you. I mean, people think that you being out on the road is just going to be a party, party, party. They
Right.
think 24/7. It is just lit. You don't have a care in the world. You are just having the time of your life. And I'm not going to say that that's not true.
Okay, all right. It might have
Uh,
changed between the beginning and now, right?
I'm not going to say it's not true because there are moments where I will say when I first started during my younger years, I felt like I wanted to really, really enjoy and have fun and go out and you know usher. After
Oh
every show,
man,
there was an after party. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm sure.
you know,
I'm sure.
being there, posted up in VIP, bottles and all of that. Hey man, that's fantastic. But for me personally, after you experience that a few times, honestly, man, it gets old. And sometimes it gets sad because you see the same sorts of people trying their best to be able to
Be
get a
seen.
taist of that.
Be seen.
They
Yeah.
want to be acknowledged, they want to be seen, they want to be included. And it's like this is really what you live for. That's you have so much more than just that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like I said, initially, oh, that was the vibe. It was fun. But then, you grow up and you realize that there are more important things happening than just that. Um, you know, to have a good time and to connect with people that you work with, the people that you work with, they end up being like your family.
Sure.
Which is really, really special because you begin to build bonds and connections with people to where it's not like, this is just, you're a person that plays in a band with you. The connection ends up tying you like your brothers, and even to this day, the relationships that I have with people that I've worked with in the band, we're tight. We're in each other's lives. I got married. They were there at my wedding. Uh, it's just you make these connections that are extremely special, and then also you create these memories that you'll never forget. Like I've been able to see the world just from playing music. Been to every continent on the planet, but
What's your
just from
favorite place?
playing. Favorite places. I love South America.
Oh, where?
I'm gonna tell you, I really loved. I love Chile. I love
Oh,
Brazil.
okay. Have
Um,
you been to
I
Guyana?
I have never been to Guyana.
That's my side of the family. You
Oh,
gotta check
really?
out. Yes, you gotta check
Okay,
out
okay.
Guyana. So between
Never
Guyana,
been.
Aruba, and England. So yeah. Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's what's up.
Beautiful.
For sure.
Beautiful
I
country. Great
there's
food
this.
and
Yeah,
people.
it's absolutely for sure. I mean, it's crazy, man. Like when I talk to people who never have been outside of the city, it's like,
Yes.
yo, you got.
Yeah.
I mean, well, right now
You
it's
gotta see the
tough, of
world.
course,
Right.
but you gotta be able to at least just get out of the United States. You gotta be able
It
to
really
get out.
changes your perspective on things. It really
It
has that.
really, it really does. It broadens your mind.
It
It
really,
just
really
does.
does.
It does something to you, that I think it's an experience for me that I'm so thankful to be
Yes.
able to have that. But like I said, that's from playing music and from touring, and like,
It's
it's
just
been a
beautiful.
fantastic, great experience.
Right.
But at the same time, the flip side of that is I've missed a lot of things
Okay.
that I want to be a part of, but I couldn't because I was on tour. Whether there's loved ones who passed away, or birthday parties, or I don't know, just different things. I'll tell you, my son was born June the 3rd, 2014. When he was born, I was actually in Israel at that time.
Oh my gosh.
So, so when my wife started going into labor, she actually went early. She went a few weeks early, and I was scheduled to be home during the time when we thought that
Thought.
it was going to happen.
Yes.
God had another plan, and I
Yes.
actually happened to be in Israel. And
Wow.
so when I got the call, I'm scrambling trying to get
Oh,
I need to go home now. Let me get a flight. The earliest flight that got me home, it got me there a day after my son was here. So touring is fantastic. It's great. It's incredible. But there are things that you will miss out on because of
sure,
your commitment to the road, you know?
sure,
And those are things that people they never think of. They
sure.
always think of, oh, it's a party. Oh, you having a time. Oh, the food. Oh, nah,
Women,
man.
men,
Yeah.
what gender you are, but for female or
Yeah,
male,
you
whatever.
feel me?
Yeah. So
It's not all that it's cracked up to be. It's great, and I love it, and I wouldn't exchange that for anything. But the flip side is there are things that you definitely miss out on. Important things, birthdays, funerals, weddings, you know, kid, all of that stuff, man. So it's a thing. It's a thing.
So Aaron, you said for that when you were in Israel, you had to fly out. So since your live performances, who fills in for you? How does that work?
Well. Thankfully, that situation when I was in Israel, that's because I was doing like some drum teaching.
Oh,
I was
okay.
doing some workshops over there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was really just me. I wasn't tied to like a situation where it was like a tour.
Okay.
Um, in those instances, if there was an emergency like that and I was on a tour, then I'll have to get a replacement to come and
Wow.
replace me.
Okay.
So it had to be somebody that I trust, somebody that I know would have the vibe, somebody that I know is not a head case, but is going to work hard, study the music, and make sure that they have everything down so that way they're not lacking anything while I'm gone. I don't want
Sure.
it to be a situation where they're like, man, this dude that you stuck us with, woo, he was terrible. And his breath stank. Oh God. So
They're gonna throw that in too.
I mean, you gotta have the total package. You gotta not only, play your part, but you gotta be professional. You gotta be on time. You gotta, look the part. Your hygiene is important. All of those things, they play a role in you building your brand and your career,
You'd mentioned when you were in Israel, you were teaching, and I believe
Mhm.
reading something about you actually do teach drum lessons here. Is that still something that you're kind of cultivating talent?
Yeah, so I haven't been able to do it as much during this quarantine. Like I
Sure.
said, my 9 to 5 really is I'm just locked in and focused on my son, right now, just making sure that he has what he needs. But I do make time to do like master classes and stuff like that via Zoom. I announce them on my Instagram or my Facebook,
Can you
and I
give that?
try to make them.
Can you give us
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
information? We'd love to have that.
Sure, absolutely. My Instagram is just A Spears.
Okay.
And then my Facebook is Aaron Spears. It's Facebook.com/Aaron Spears Official. That's my
Okay. Do you have one
Facebook.
coming up? Anything coming up?
Actually, no. I just did one last week. I'll
Okay.
plan to do one again in March. I don't have the date set up yet, but it's coming.
Okay. So then go to
Yeah.
at A Spears for one, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes. For
Facebook, Aaron
Instagram, you can go
Spears.
to A. Yes, you can go to at A Spears for Instagram. You can go to Aaron Spears Official on Facebook.
So, Aaron, what are some of your short-term goals as we hopefully within the next 8 to 9 months get through this COVID? What are some of your goals?
Well, so I've been working really hard on one of my goals, which is to be able to work remotely from home. Like that's been
Oh, so COVID brought
extremely,
that on.
absolutely. I saw the need for it. I didn't want to have to, I knew that the work and stuff was coming with the Mass Singer and with some other projects,
Great
and I
show.
didn't want to have to go. I didn't want to have to go to a studio to be able to work. So I started to get all the pieces that I needed here at home for me to be able to do the things I need to do. So the mics, cables, the sound, the interface, recording equipment, like everything that I needed in order to make it happen comfortably here at home. I just didn't want to have any excuses as to why the work would not be able to get done. So that's one thing. Um, Another goal of mine that I have that I'm working on now is I'm working to be able to create um, like a teaching platform or like a teaching curriculum.
Great.
I know that I don't know if you've ever seen like they have like Steven Spielberg. You can take a class with the masters.
Yes.
If you want to, whatever it is that you want to learn, there's a way that you can
Yeah,
do it.
Issa Rae has launched something not too long ago.
Exactly, same thing. So this would be like the same sort of thing, but it'll be for drummers. I also,
Wow. And where,
exactly.
again, Aaron, I want to make sure mom, dad, or fans that are interested in it,
Sure.
where do they go again to get the latest information to follow you and
So
find out how they can
so
take part?
if you in all things me, you can find that. Like I said, you can find it on Instagram at A Spears. You can find it on Facebook at Aaron Spears Official, or you can go to my website. I have a website. My website is just aaronspears.com. And you could find links to everything there. But that's something also that, like I said, that I'm working on is to cultivate this curriculum to make sure that our kids that want to play, or even our adults that want to play or they want to learn, I'll have something to offer them there. So that's the next phase. That's what I'm working on now to make that happen.
That is so very exciting. So COVID had another thing on you. So now you're trying to work from home. I really think COVID has changed how this country will do things moving forward, no matter what. I've heard some businesses actually made more in 2019 by having their employees at home. I mean, I know that driving into the District of Columbia, that was an hour to an hour and 30 minutes, depending on what time I left home, that I'm spending
Absolutely.
on the road every single day when I could be productive or more
Yeah,
productive.
yeah, for sure. It's crazy because your productivity goes up. I mean, for me, having to go to a studio to cut as opposed to me walking downstairs into my basement, it saves so much time. The time that I would take to drive to a studio that I
Yes.
like, I can use that actually recording a track. You
Yes.
feel me? So
Yeah.
so it's helped to make things so much more productive on my side, So I'm really, really thankful for this time. A lot of people complain and they say, "Oh man, COVID is the worst thing that's ever happened. It's just terrible and I hate it." And I see that, but we have to really focus and live in the silver linings that we've been given during this time. There are some positives. There are some
Yeah.
some great takeaways that we have to really kind of help us to get the momentum to continue to stay positive and continue to grow and continue to shine.
I really like that outlook. So listen, who are three people that you would love to work with, or maybe just one? Who would you like to work with that you haven't had an opportunity, whether it was timing or anything else?
Man, I really wanted to work with Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
That right there was definitely uh, he
Wow.
just the king. I really wanted to work, and it's crazy because I had gotten the call about This Is It. They had already had a gentleman who was already working, but they were not sure if things were going to work out, and they were just asking me, "Hey, man, if the opportunity presents
Oh my,
itself, and
so
things don't
close.
work out here with right, so close. If things
So
don't work
close.
out with him, are you interested?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Are you
Like, do you
kidding?
know the music? Yeah. Actually, name a song. I got it,
Oh
man.
my
I've
gosh.
watched those concerts over and over again. I've seen live in Bucharest thousands of yes.
Wow.
You let me know. And I was extremely happy and extremely thankful for the call. But things didn't work out. It didn't
Wow.
work out. Well, first of all, it didn't work out because the guy that they had in place, he did a fantastic job. And it just was a
Good.
matter of them kind of warming up to him and
Mhm.
him, vice versa. And it just worked out for him to be able to do it. So that was settled. It was cool. But it also didn't work out because Michael Jackson passed away.
Yeah.
So
A big
that
loss
to
to this
me would have
world.
been, oh man, we it's still heavy. But thankfully, we have the positives to take away from his life and from his career, and I'm extremely thankful for that. But Michael Jackson would have definitely been the one that I wish that I would have been able to play for. It's just iconic.
So let me ask you, what advice can you give as we approach the top of the hour? What advice can you give to people that are in or interested in the world of entertainment, whether it's drumming or singing, acting, or performing? What advice can you give them to prepare once we get through the COVID? Because right now we're stagnant. I mean, we can make things happen. We have to be creative. What advice could you give them to get through this? Because it's been tough for a lot of people.
Well, I will say this. I think it's just really, really important, one, to stay true to who you are.
Mm.
Be you. Be who it is that you. No one in this world has the ability to be who you are but you. That's extremely important. Um, while you're being who you are and you're finding out exactly who it is that that you are in your presentation to the world, you want to make sure that you understand that everybody's journey is going to be different. We all want to get to that destination of being, on stage and thousands and millions and of adoring fans, and that's fine and that's cool. But everybody's journey is different, so you really have to take your journey and love every moment, every single second of it, every single phase of it, because those phases on your journey is what's going to help you to prepare to when you finally get to the end game. There's so many people that, went through hardships and went through disappointments and went through, just a lot of different things, a lot of different, from the ups and the downs. But it's in those moments of those downs or those negative times that made them appreciate the positive things even more. They appreciate the success even more. They appreciate the people that show them love even more, because they know what it's like to have those negative things happen. Also, you cannot judge who you are based on other people. We live in a world now. We live in a world now where you see everybody's life is being played out on Instagram. Everyone's life is being played out on social media. Everyone's life is played, you see it, it's just being broadcast. It's heavy. But what you do not see are the losses. You don't know what this person had to go through in order to be able to post this big one that they had. But we, a lot of times, tend to judge where we are and who we are based on what we see other people post, what we see other people do. And it's not fair, because you're on your grind, you're on your journey. So you can't judge who you are and what you're becoming from what someone else posts or what someone else writes. It's just you can't do that. You're doing a disservice to yourself. You're doing a disservice to your dream. You're doing a disservice to your goals to be able to judge yourself in that way. Another thing, this is the last thing. While you're working on your grind, trying to get to where you want to get to, sometimes you have to do things in order to feed the dream before the dream can actually feed you. Like for me, I worked a 9-to-5 job many years. I bought many drumsticks. I bought many drums, many cymbals, many sticks, until it got to the point where the dream began to actually take care of me. I started to get paid from playing, so
Love it. I
so
love that.
you
People need
have
to hear
have
this.
to, yeah, you have to, you have to know that it's nothing wrong with, working your 9-to-5 and, buying the equipment that you need in order to get the job done, because at some point your passion and that dream is going to kick in, and it's going to be able to take care of you if you believe, if you stay positive, if you stay focused, it can happen.
I tell you what, very, very well said. Our phenomenal guest, Grammy nominated music producer and drummer Aaron Spears. I just really have to thank you for your insight and your information. And now people know where to go if they're thinking about or aspiring to be a drummer. Maybe they just want to improve their skills, or maybe they want to follow your amazing path with working with people like, Chrisette Michelle Usher and Little Wayne. I mentioned that, right? Carrie Underwood, and the list goes on. Mary, we love them all. Ariana Grande, all of them are wonderful. You are watching Black Press USA and NNPA's FIA. I just want to let you know that they have their mid-winter conference. It's today and tomorrow. You can simply go to virtual nnpa.com. And I also want to let you know, as we wrap things up too, we received word in the middle of our interview that phenomenal actress Sicily Tyson has died at the age of 96. Of course, you can stay tuned to NNPA. We'll have more information about that. And we want to thank Concert Connects and let you know next week we have wonderful Dr. Jessica Smedley. Jessica Smedley, she is going to come on and just really help us deal with stress and depression and all the things that are going on because of COVID, job loss, and many, many more. So we will see you next week. We want to thank you, Aaron, so much for joining us. All right.
Thank you, guys.
God bless and goodbye.